Last month, Leonard Dalton, my daughter's English teacher, was sentenced to 25 years in prison without parole for grooming multiple students, including mine. I never imagined I'd uncover such horror behind a friendly smile. I trusted her. But the evidence, the bracelet, the photos shattered everything. Now Dalton rots in a cell, and I still can't sleep. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. When Ava started staying out late and wearing makeup she never used before, I felt something wasn't right. I tried to be understanding, asking gentle questions, but she brushed me off. One night, I saw her texting under the covers. I caught a glimpse. Mr. DeYoung. My stomach dropped. I didn't say anything then. I wanted to believe it was harmless, but deep down, fear had taken root. I was already losing her. At Ava's parent-teacher conference, Dalton praised her maturity and literary sensitivity with a grin that made my skin crawl. His hand brushed hers as he passed her notebook. I clenched my jaw but said nothing. Later, I found that same notebook filled with hearts around his name. My wife had passed away 2 years ago, and I promised myself I'd protect our daughter no matter what. But how do you protect her from someone she trusts? After Ava began skipping meals and hiding her phone, I confided in Melissa Winters, the school counselor. She hesitated, then admitted she'd noticed a pattern with Dalton and other girls. We decided to gather quiet-proof screenshots, attendance slips, and Ava's bracelet, found in his drawer during a staged fire drill. I felt sick. Melissa warned me this had to be airtight. Every step felt like walking a tightrope, praying not to fall or be seen. Skylar, Ava's classmate, confided that Dalton gave her extra credit for staying after school alone. Her voice shook. I recorded our conversation. That night, I checked Ava's messages. She's deleted most, but one stuck. Don't forget our secret. My hands trembled. When I showed Melissa, she paled. We need more, but Principal Harrison downplayed it. Dalton's our best teacher. I left his office furious, realizing this wouldn't be a clean fight. They were protecting him. I installed a tracker on Ava's phone. Guilt tore at me, but I had to know. When I saw she visited a motel after school, I followed, heart racing. No sign of her car, just Dalton-ness. I snapped photos and waited. She never came out later. Ava lied about being at Skylar's. When I pressed, she screamed, "Why don't you trust me?" My silence said it all. I was a father losing his grip. Melissa and I reviewed school security footage. Dalton lingered near Ava's locker far too often. One clip showed him slipping a note into her book. We retrieved it from the trash. They'll never understand us. My chest tightened. I took it to Principal Harrison. He shrugged. Teen crushes get messy. That's when Jade Anderson approached me. Her cousin had transferred schools after a similar scandal. Dalton had history and a pattern. My blood boiled. He wasn't stopping. Jade gave me her cousin's journal, page after page of eerily similar phrases Dalton used on Ava. You're special. They don't get us. Only you. It was like reading Ava's texts. Melissa took copies. We confronted Harrison again. This time he warned me, back off or face legal action. I felt cornered, enraged. Jade whispered, they tried to bury this once, don't let them do it again. I resolve hardened. I'd go to the police next. Ava was about to board a Greyhound when I found her at the station. I love him, she screamed as I begged her to stop. She showed me Dalton's ticket, already bought. My voice cracked. He's done this before. I held up the journal, trembling. Her eyes darted, confused. Then, a siren blared. Officers pulled up. Dalton stepped out from a nearby car. He didn't run, he smirked. As police questioned Dalton, Ava cried in my arms. He said I was different. She whispered. Officers found burner phones in Dalton's car, messages to other students. Melissa arrived, shaken but determined, handing over files we'd gathered. The chief nodded grimly. It's enough. Ava watched them cuff him. Her voice broke. Was any of it real? I didn't have an answer. I just held her tighter. Dalton's trial began swiftly. I sat beside Ava every day. She trembled as each victim testified. When it was her turn, she clutched the bracelet I'd saved, the one he gave her. He made me feel seen, she said, voice trembling. Then I realized it was never about me. The courtroom fell silent. I reached for her hand. She didn't flinch. We were facing this together now. Jade testified next. Reading from her cousin's journal, tears streaked her face. The judge's expression hardened. The prosecution laid out Dalton's digital trail, burner phones, fake profiles, school Wi-Fi logs. It was airtight. The defense tried to discredit as overprotective father. Emotional teens, but the jury saw through it. Ava squeezed my hand. You believed me, she whispered. For the first time, I felt her trust returning. The verdict came in guilty on all counts. Dalton stared ahead, expression blank. The judge's sentence was swift, 25 years without parole. Ava buried her face into my shoulder, sobbing. I wrapped my arms around her, whispering, it's over. But we both knew it wasn't, not really. Healing would take time. Still, in that courtroom surrounded by truth, we finally had our first breath of safety, just when Ava began healing. Melissa called me late one night. We missed something, she said. Turns out, Dalton had backups, hidden hard drives linked to a remote cloud. One video showed him rehearsing manipulative speeches, tailoring each to a girl's insecurity. I watched David's clip in horror, word for word. The same lines he'd whispered to her. It wasn't love, it was choreography. I told her. She didn't cry. She asked for the file herself. Skylar's mom reached out, shaken. Her daughter had nearly run away too, just weeks before Ava. When I connected the dots, same motel, same phrases, I realized Dalton staggered his targets. Police reopened older files. Patterns emerged across years. Ava sat silently as detectives explained. He was grooming before she was even born, I whispered. Her jaw tightened. Then I won't be the last to speak. That night, she drafted a speech, clear, fierce, raw truth. Ava presented her speech at a school assembly. Students fidgeted until she spoke. I thought I was special. He made sure I did. But it was a script. Silence followed. She named no names, but everyone knew. Principal Harrison turned pale in the crowd. Jade and Skylar stood beside her. We aren't broken. Ava ended, voice steady. Applause erupted. That night, her blog launched, anonymous but brave. Survivors messaged. Her truth wasn't alone anymore. Melissa uncovered a chilling detail. Dalton's initial hire bypassed a flagged background check. The superintendent, it turned out, was his cousin. A silent network of protection. I met with a journalist. The expose ran front page. Karen stormed the school board. The superintendent resigned. Harrison was put on leave. Ava read the article wide-eyed. You lit the match, she whispered. I looked at her. You carried the torch. Together we burned the silence down. Ava's blog caught fire. Survivors from other states shared eerily similar stories, same tactics, same gifts. A pattern emerged. One girl mentioned a counselor in Arizona, Mr. Dalton's twin. Turns out, Dalton had aliases. The guy got involved. Ava handed over everything. Agents praised her courage. That night, we sat on the porch. You're not a victim, I told her. She smiled. Tired but proud. No, she said. I'm a witness, and I'm done being quiet. Jade helped Ava design a resource guide for teens, disguise signs, trusted adults, legal steps. They partnered with a nonprofit. Melissa connected them with therapists. I watched Ava speak on a panel, calm, articulate, fierce. If someone makes you feel like a secret, she said, they're hiding something. The room applauded. Later, she hugged me tight. Thanks for not giving up. Even when I hated you, my throat tightened. I never stopped being your dad. Skylar found an anonymous chat log. Dalton using an old handle, recently active. He'd been coaching others from prison through coded blogs. Melissa alerted the authorities. Digital monitoring was tightened. Ava updated her site with warnings. He doesn't stop, she told me. But neither will we. For every tactic he used, they posted a countermeasure. The site gained traction. Even boys started sharing stories. The silence wasn't just breaking, it was sharing. Ava's blog went viral. After a well-known actress shared it on social media, thousands of survivors flooded the comments, some silent for decades. Ava read everyone. It's not just me, she murmured. Jade and Skylar helped moderate. Melissa expanded the guide into school workshops. Principal Harrison resigned quietly. Ava lit a candle that night, her mom's favorite scent, for every girl who thought it was her fault. She said, the flame didn't flicker once. A reporter uncovered emails showing the school board ignored earlier complaints against Dalton. Whistleblowers came forward. The district faced a lawsuit. Ava sat in on the meeting where new policies were drafted. Every student deserves to be safe, she told the room. Her words made the local news. I watched from the back, overwhelmed. She's not just surviving, Melissa whispered. She's leading. And she was, each word a step, each truth a reckoning. Jade's cousin finally agreed to speak publicly, with Ava by her side. She recorded a podcast episode recounting her trauma. It went viral. Donations poured into survivor support networks. Ava cried listening, then smiled. We're not echoes anymore, we're a chorus, Skylar added. Louder than shame. I looked at them. These girls who once trembled under secrets, now warriors. They weren't just healing, they were rewriting the story for every girl still afraid to speak. An ex-student emailed Ava he'd almost been groomed too, but didn't speak up. Thinking no one would believe a boy, Ava invited him to write on her blog. His post shattered assumptions. More male survivors reached out. The conversation widened. This isn't a girl's issue, Ava said during a live stream. It's a silence issue. I watched her, awestruck. She'd taken pain and made it power. And now, she was lifting others with her voice. Ava and Jade were invited to present at a national conference on student safety. They spoke beside psychologists and lawmakers. Ava read survivor letters aloud. We believed them because they made us feel seen, she said. But predators know how to perform empathy. Applause thundered. Afterward, a senator approached her about education policy reform. Melissa snapped a photo. Ava, beaming beside the Capitol steps. My daughter, once broken my trust, now shaping the rules of trust itself. Late one evening, Ava received an anonymous package, Dalton's trial transcript. No note, just highlights, tabs on each lie. Someone inside a Jade asked maybe, maybe not. Ava didn't flinch. He's not the last, she said. Together, we scanned every page, prepping a guide for future victims navigating court. Her hands were steady, mine shook. She's ahead of me now, I whispered to Melissa. She's more than healed, she's a shield, and she was. Ava's high school asked her to return as guest speaker. I braced for her answer. Only if Harrison's gone, she said. He was. She stood in front of the same auditorium she once fled from. I don't need you to remember me, she told the students. I need you to remember the signs. She passed out cards, resources, hotline numbers, safety plans. The applause was thunderous. Ava didn't bow, she nodded like a soldier acknowledging duty. The nonprofit offered Ava a permanent role, youth coordinator for survivor advocacy. She hesitated. I'm still learning, she said. But Skylar nudged her. That's why you're perfect. Ava accepted. I watched her fill out the contract. Her signature shook slightly, but she didn't stop. It's not about being ready, she told me. It's about refusing to be silent. That night we celebrated not survival but defiance. Ava had chosen to turn her trauma into purpose. On the anniversary of Dalton's arrest, Ava hosted a candlelight vigil. Survivors shared poems, songs, silence. Melissa read names, first names only, dozens of them. Each flame flickered against the dusk. Ava stepped up last. He took pieces of us, she said, but he didn't win. Then she lit the final candle. I watched her. No longer fragile, she was firelight and foundation. Ava wasn't a victim or a statistic, she was the storm that followed. In the quiet after the vigil, Ava and I sat on the porch. She held the bracelet Dalton once gave her. I used to think this meant love, she said. Then, she dropped it into a jar of salt water. Now it's just proof I survived. I nodded, fighting back tears. The silence between us wasn't heavy anymore, it was healing. I reached for her hand, and for the first time in a year, she didn't pull away. Weeks later, Ava and I cleaned out our attic. She found a box of her childhood drawings, crayon hearts, castles, notes to daddy. We laughed, then she held one up. This one says, thank you for keeping monsters away. Her eyes met mine. I didn't know you still were. I didn't respond. I just hugged her tight. That box didn't just hold memories, it held reminders of who we were, and who we were still becoming. Together months later, Ava launched a national teen-led coalition for survivor advocacy. Schools began adopting her safety framework. The district that once silenced her now hosted her workshops. Survivors wore bracelets not for shame, but as signals. I'm safe to talk to. Ava smiled at me from a stage. You believed me before I did, she said, and I always will. On her 18th birthday, Ava handed me a sealed envelope. Inside was a letter she's written during the worst days. If I don't make it, tears blurred my vision. But I did, she said, hugging me because you stayed. I held her close, heartful. Ava hadn't just survived, she transformed, and I got to witness every step of that rise. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.